everybody. Just take a listen at this, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
When the devil attacks, well, we need to just pray. So when the devil attacks, he only attacks in one way. John 13, verse 2 says, after supper being ended, the devil now putting the thought inside of Judas Iscariot's heart to betray Jesus. You guys know the story of Judas. He betrayed Jesus Christ. Yeah. Outwardly, it's him, but inside it was Satan. So he puts that thought inside of us, because nobody's just going to wake up and somebody, right? You got to first have negative thoughts, angry thoughts, and then you just feel angry. And then you start to behave angry. It comes from a thought, bro. Literally. So everything, people, we're not just empty vessels who just move around, bro. We have thoughts, we have mind, we have, all these different feelings and emotions, but it starts with the thoughts.
All right, so we take this from so many different angles. First of all, he starts to talk about the Last Supper, and then after the meal is finished, that's when the devil comes in and implants this feeling of betrayal towards Jesus, and that's how Judas goes and betrays Jesus. I have a huge issue with this for reasons that may not come across too clear to too many people, but I hope I can present it in a manner in which at least it makes sense. First and foremost, God created us in His image. We are in essence God. I am God as an individual. Then there is the we are God as the collective. As an individual God, I am an individual God creator. And there's also the collective God creators. God making us in His own image afforded us the opportunity and the ability to create whatever it was we chose to create in our existence. During this existence, and only during this existence, we as individual creators and as a collective creator created evil, malevolency, deceit, manipulation, lies, atrocities, betrayals. These things didn't exist before we, as made in God's image, chose to create with our creator ability. God did not beseech onto our existence the aspect of evil. God is everything. God is everything that is good and pure. Evil and lower vibrational energies and negativities are a construct that I speculate we as humans unwittingly and unknowingly went down because we were also afforded an opportunity to project these aspects of negative energies onto a figurehead, Satan, Lucifer. The man was talking about how after the supper, Lucifer goes and embeds him with this feeling, with this negative feeling. Nobody's born, wanting to just go run up on somebody and do something. Okay. But people aren't born with free will. And if I am watching somebody do something that I feel jealousy is something that is not of Satan's creation. It's me having an issue with something that I am choosing not to deal with, thus allowing this disharmonious way of perceiving something to continue to flourish and grow. Thus, jealousy keeps growing and growing. If I turn around and say, no, it wasn't me that was jealous of him, it was the devil that put jealousy in me, then I am A, not taking responsibility for my own actions, my own choices, and B, placing blame on somebody that has no fucking blame in the situation in the first place or at all. Just understand that. You acted like an asshole because you're an asshole. If you sat down to have a beautiful meal with your wife and your family after having a beautiful day, after having a beautiful week, a beautiful month, a beautiful year, and as soon as you put the fork down, you get up and you beat the shit out of your entire family, and then you sit back down and you say, the devil put that in me? It's like, no, dude, that was all you, unless it was medically induced for whatever reason. That was a choice and a continuance on that choice as you were doing what you were doing. You can't just fucking separate yourself from that easily. Because, like, understand my perspective, belief, and understanding of Lucifer and Jesus is that Lucifer in no way, shape, or form was, is, or ever will be an evil, demonic representation of something that God created and then couldn't control and allow to continue to flourish and allow to continue to just destroy and create mayhem and stuff like that. But would God create a human civilization with free will that they themselves had a choice? Just like the story goes, why did God create Lucifer in the first place if he knew he was going to betray him? Well, I've heard that God wanted to give him the opportunity to make the choice himself, to see what would he in fact choose. I argue that that narrative actually should be placed upon us, that God created us knowing the potential existed to see what we would choose, and that in fact Lucifer was nothing more than a loving angel to God and to Jesus and to us that chose to be the emblem for this opportunity for a human being to project their shit onto something else and blame something else and not take any responsibility for themselves. I mean, call me crazy, but that makes a hell of a lot more sense. Also, think about it. If Satan and Lucifer had projections of energies, of me projecting away from my own existence onto Lucifer as my sins, you can say the energies projected onto Lucifer manifested physically onto Jesus with the physicality of what he went through suffering wise. I can also argue that the sin of man, is it the sin of man or is it the sin of Satan, or which one is it? I mean, it goes back and forth. It can't be both, but it sure could just be us humans, the sin that we as humans chose and continue to allow to continue. If we did nothing more than project throughout this entire period since Jesus' birth onto Lucifer, and the majority of people did not in any way, shape, or form take responsibility for their own actions and just dismiss their crap as Satan taking them over, then whose sins did Jesus suffer for? Like ours or Satan's? Like, because it seems like Satan suffered unjustly, probably more so than Jesus. Okay, if you think about the amount of impact that still continues today, okay, the fact that we collectively still choose to believe that there's going to be an antichrist that's going to come here and just fuck everything up. The antichrist can't just be manifested into reality without following a proper sense of universal law and how things kind of culminate. Case in point, the people that did go down the path of sinning and lying, manipulating, and mayhem and all that crap, and then blaming it on Satan, they're coming into that embodiment of choice fully, I argue, allowed for the balance or the counterbalance of people that you would call chosen, star seeds, spiritual awakenings, all that. They could not have come to exist had it not been for the need of balance to the opposition of this negative aspect that people went in willingly. Just like Lucifer could not exist without Jesus, vice versa. And also, I would like to make the argument that think of Judas in this manner. If Judas didn't do what he did, then Jesus wouldn't have been arrested, crucified, and gone through everything that he went through, thus creating the foundation to this religion that we all know of. So Jesus lives instead of going through this. Jesus continues to preach for however many years. Do you think any more of his preaching would have impacted the foundation as much as the crucifixion did? No way. He already had done so many miracles. He healed people, brought people back from the dead. I mean, how much more can you do than that? If that didn't blow your minds away, then why the hell would any more preaching do so? Okay, so the crucifixion was the suffering aspect. So without Judas, Jesus couldn't fulfill what it was that he needed to fulfill. That's why Judas was Jesus' most favored disciple, not because of anything other than the fact that, just like I believe Lucifer has taken on the position of being the scapegoat, Judas became that for Jesus, and that's why Jesus loved him. They just portrayed him as this bad thing, and then after he did what he did, the priest gave him the 30 pieces of silver. He didn't do it for that. Okay, he did it because somebody needed to be the catalyst. Somebody needed to be the first domino to set things into motion. Because remember, no Judas, nothing that is massive in Christianity would have occurred. All right. Peace.
Devil attacks, fool.